Welcome to Textile Chemical Processing. Myself, M. Gopalakrishnan, Assistant Professor, Department of Textile Technology. Today, we are going to see Azoic Dye and dispersed dyes. Azoic dye is a very important class for cellulosic fibers. It gives very brilliant shades and excellent fastness properties except rubbing fastness. It is very easy to dye the cellulosic fibers. The cost is also very less, but the disadvantages is very poor rubbing fastness and it gives carcinogenic for human beings, so it is banned due to naphtols. And it is not a ready-made dye. Naphthol is coupled with base, you will get the color is developed, so it is not a ready-made dye, so it is insoluble in water. So normally the dye consists of azo groups, so the insoluble azo groups, so it is called as azoic dyes. It is not a ready-made dye because there are two forms, naphthol and base. So when combined these two compounds, the color gets developed. So there are two components, naphthol and base. So that means diazo compound or diazo base. So when these two compounds are coupled, the color gets developed. For changing the color, we have to change the naphthol or base. So there are 34 naphthols and 50 bases are available. By changing the different naphthals for same base, we will get different shades and different colors. And for same naphthol, by changing the different bases, you will get different colors, and the combination can produce about 200 shades, and only very few are used in industry due to cost. The reproducibility is very difficult, and you will get better brightness. So there are two compounds, naphthol and diazo compounds. So naphthol is also insoluble in water, so we have to convert this naphthol into soluble naphthol by naphtholization. Normally the naphthals are treated with alkali, sodium hydroxide, to convert the insoluble into soluble one. And normally naphthols doesn't have affinity or substantivity towards cellulosic fibers in even in a dissolution form. And base also insoluble in water. So normally base containing amino groups react with sodium nitrate and form solution of diazonium chloride. So this diazonium chloride is soluble in water. So we have to treat the diazo compound with the sodium nitrate and HCl. So you will get soluble. Either you have to impregnate the naphthol first or base, that means a diazo compound first. So you can treat any one. The impregnated material is treated with in a bath containing diazonium chloride, that is a coupling agent, and during the coupling the color gets developed, and pH is very important, so it should be 3 to 5, and temperature is also very important. So the temperature should be less than 20 degrees Celsius. Normally 18 degrees Celsius is maintained, and in India it is very difficult to maintain 18 degrees Celsius. We have to use some ice balls or something to reduce the temperature to some extent. Because of that, using the ice, it is also called as ice dyes, azoic dyes, naphthol dyes. So all are same. Naphthol differs widely from one another. So it varies affinity, substantivity for cotton fibers. So low substantivity naphthals are available, medium, high substantivity, very high substantivity. So these naphthals are available. Based on the requirement, we have to use different naphthals, and based on the color, we have to use different naphthals. And substantivity of the naphthol can be increased by addition of salt, electrolyte. So it is similar to direct dye of cellulosic material. So dissolution of naphthol, that means solubility of naphthol. There are two methods are involved. One is hot and cold method. In hot method, naphthol is pasted with turquoise oil and sodium hydroxide solution, and followed by boiling. So this method needs temperature to dissolve the naphthals. And cold method, naphthals are stirred with methylated spirit and sodium hydroxide, and sodium hydroxide, we can reduce the amount of sodium hydroxide in a cold method because we are using methylated spray, and you can do it at room temperature. So there are two methods are involved. So mostly they prefer a hot method for dissolution of naphthol. So naphthol can react with the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere and get precipitated. So to protect from precipitation, we have to use formaldehyde as a stabilizer. And naphthol, the application of naphthol on cellulosic material is only a temporary fixation. So only the dye get attached to cellulosic fibers, only coupling with the base. The temperature should be as low as possible, otherwise the formaldehyde can react with naphthol and start cross-linking. So this should be avoided. Normally the naphthols are applied in below room temperature. So diazotization of base. So it is carried out at 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. It is practically impossible to maintain 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. So normally they keep 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, and they use ice baths to reduce the temperature of the dye bath. So hence it is called as ice colors. To diazotize 1 molecule of amine, 2 molecules of hydrochloric acid and 1 mole of sodium nitrate is required. We have to add all these compound into base to diazotize the base. For diazotization of base, first you have to paste the base with the TRO, tertiary oil, and we have to add HCl solution and heat it to dissolve the base, and water and ice is added to bring down the temperature to 5 to 10 degrees Celsius, and in practical in India they will keep 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, and the sodium nitrate is dissolved separately and added to the solution. So presence of nitrous acid is checked with starch iodine paper, and the presence of HCl can be checked with Congo red paper, and excess of HCl is neutralized by adding sodium acetate, which can react with HCl forming acetic acid. The sodium acetate mixture with act as a buffer of pH 4 to 5. So the application of naphthol dyes can be either naphthol first and base second, or base first and naphthol second. So either case you can use you can dye the fabric, and in practical they use naphthol first and base second. So naphthols doesn't have substantivity towards cellulosic fibers, so you have to temporarily fix the naphthols. Normally padding method is used to apply the naphthols, and then you have to dry the fabric, and then you have to apply the base. So coupling takes place, and after coupling you have to wash the fabric and dry the sample. So due to the poor substantivity and affinity of naphthol on cellulosic material, the base is coupled sometimes in the surface of the fabric. It is very difficult to remove the superficial dye in normal case, but some severe rubbing it will remove. So due to that, the rubbing fastness of the azoic dyes are very poor, whereas the other fastness properties like wash fastness, light fastness are excellent, and you will get very brilliant shades. So these are some advantages of naphthol dyeing.